Hello everybody, welcome back. It's Georgiana with Expressions Craft Studio, and this is a card that we're bringing to you this week from, it's a card by Sam Calcott with Mixed Up Crafts, but it was suggested to me by one of my viewers named Elizabeth. So thank you, Elizabeth, because I really had a lot of fun with this one. Now, I will start off by saying, and I have designed this in Design Space, by the way, that's where we're going with this. I not only designed it using Sam's dimensions, but I also recreated it with two other smaller sizes because, as you can see, this is quite a large card. It measures 5.5 by 8. Yes, just double checking myself. So I added a belly band to this just to help keep it closed, but honestly it doesn't really need it. So what this is at Sam's, let me see, what did she call this? Oops. Okay, Sam calls this her double panel pop-up gatefold. Again, quite a mouthful, but it is a beautiful card, and it's really made to stand out, and I think she calls them showstoppers. So when you open it up, you have these two beautiful square pop-ups here, and then you've got this little one in the center that you can place another pop-up on that stands above even those two. Now, she used a circle. I just designed it the way she had it, but you could make that any shape you want. You could do hearts, you could do squares, you could do rectangles. I mean, you literally could do anything. So I used a bunch of pieces. You may recognize some of this artwork that was already on my desk. I'd cut it out for some of the previous cards that we recently made. Again, using the same pad of paper, but I'm happy to tell you after today, I'm down to one full sheet and some scraps. So I've almost got that pad gone, and I think I'm just going to let the other one sit on the shelf for a while because, you know, I want to do something different, work with something different. But there's a couple of things I really liked about some of the papers I chose. I realize, again, there's not a lot of contrast because I was really only left with this dark navy blue. So it's you know, kind of drab in a way. But I loved this piece of paper because it has all these Christmas sentiments on it. Season's greetings, joy to the world, baby it's cold outside, happy holidays, and it just goes on. And then of course I reused it on the front, inside on the inner panels here, and as a matting layer on these two square pop-ups as well as the round one. Then I took some snowflakes from my stash, as well as these leftover digitals that I had cut out with my Cricut that were sitting here on my desk. And I've used nearly all of them. I used the two candy canes here. In fact, the only thing I haven't used were two of the sentiment strips that I had printed out in different sizes. So I've got two of those left. I'll use one of them maybe here in a little while. I'm not sure yet. But yeah, I think this is really cute, and it stands up nicely, but it is a massive card. And I know in the UK they make cards bigger than we do, generally, because their paper is sized differently. But this would be expensive to mail. Now, if you're going to hand it to somebody in person, it might be all right. Making an envelope for it, like I said, it's what, 5.5 by 8 or 5.5 by 8. So you'd either have to custom make an envelope or just put it in a much larger envelope. I don't know. But it is a really cute card, and like I said, I've just used scraps here that I've had on my desk that I've been working with. I've got lots of other papers I could use, I could go through. These were here, so I used them. But yeah, I think it's adorable. So I'm going to put this one away and finally get this behemoth off my desk. It really is quite a large card, but it is so striking. So if I can grab them here. I went ahead and redesigned it. Now, I got the first one that I did correct, and I got it 5 by 7. I managed to adjust my measurements so it folds down to a 5 by 7. So that's more manageable for us here in the US, and you can get that out of one sheet of 8.5 by 11. Obviously, you could get, well, what does it measure? 10. Yeah, so you wouldn't be able to get 2 out of a 12 by 12, but you can easily get the card base out of a 8.5 by 11. So that's the second card. So the original, there's 3 of them in there, This is the second one, and then the third one I did mess up on my dimensions, so it comes out to 4 3/4 by 5 1/2 when it's folded. I didn't save this one, I just reworked it, but it's not a bad size. It's just not going to fit in our standard A2 envelopes. So the third one in the file is this one here, which is folded. It measures 4 1/2 by 5 1/2. Well, it should say 4 1/4. I wrote it down wrong. Yeah, it should say 4 1/4. Let me just scribble over that. Okay, so it measures 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 when folded. And again, you can cut this out of an 8 1/2 by 11 and still have some scraps left over for some of your mats. So I've got one cut out in that size, and I thought we could go ahead and put it together real quick just to see how it looks when it's all done. And again, use that same pad of paper. I did grab a shade of blue from my solid cardstock stash. These, I don't even think I'm going to use these. These were part of the sentiment on the front if you use the belly band, which is optional. You don't have to print it, but or cut it, either way. But I did, and everything else here is ready to go. So we're going to start gluing, and I will probably speed through this portion. Oh, I was going to say I lost this little piece. You will need this little piece here because it's going to go on top of your center pop-up. And you just glue it down like that, and poof, it pops up and adds a little bit of extra height to this circle piece here. So again, I'm going to start gluing and fast forwarding, or not fast forwarding. I'm going to start gluing and I'm going to speed it up for you. Alright guys, I think I'm done. I'm not happy with the ribbon. I just think it's too narrow, but I was using it as a belly band. I may make a belly band to put on it. I haven't decided yet, but for now I think I'm done. So this is the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 version of this card, and as you can see, it turns out really cute as well. Now I just used everything in my stash. I didn't make new sentiments. This was a little smaller than I normally would have liked. I would have liked it to fill up that circle better, but I think it's okay. It's kind of subtle and it lets the background kind of do its thing. So again, the stars are from my stash. I did have to die cut the evergreen branches and the holly branches, but everything else I had. So I did also add a little bit of Wink Stella to the snowflakes on the center portions. You can't quite really see it on that bottom one, but it's on there. I didn't add it to these outside edges here of these outside panels, but you certainly could. It's all, you know, whatever you want to do. I just thought that looked nice, and you know, I like a little bit of sparkle. Actually, I like a lot of sparkle, but so there you have it. Now you've got room on the back, and there is in the file 2 panels here if you need to add something to write on, or you know, you're just, it's kind of the way it is, just wishing somebody a Merry Christmas. So there you go. I think it's pretty cute. I am, again, not happy with the ribbon here, and I've got to get it centered a bit better. Let's do it like this. I did realize, you may have noticed while I was trying to tie the ribbon, which I'm not the best bow tire, that I remembered my my reverse tweezers there to help hold it for me. Otherwise I was going to have to put a knot in it. Pull that out, give that an extra little squeeze and pull, and there you go. So again, this ribbon's too small for this. I'll probably put a regular belly band on it. You could even glue it down if you didn't want it to move and roll like this one is here in the on the back. Just don't glue it on the fold here, but glue it on the back so that it doesn't move, but that's up to you. So I'll have to pick out a different ribbon, but there you go. It's cute, isn't it? I really like it. So thank you, Elizabeth, for suggesting this one. I've got a couple more I've already started on, slowly but surely working my way through some of my pre-cut die cuts, as well as my stash papers and ribbons and whatever. But I really like this one by Sam, and you know, the original, put it over here. I usually wrap my belly bands too tight. This one's a little loose. It wants to slide right off of there. But the original is really, like I said, I believe she likes the term showstopper, and it is just that. It just jumps out at you. So if you wanted to make something, you know, a little extra large, and you're working with 12 by 12 papers, this would be the way to go, because this one, it measures 11 by 8. So you just, if you were going to do your hand scoring and cutting, you could cut this out of an 8.5 by 11. But to use the Cricut, you're really going to have to use 12 by 12. So there you go. Let me know what you think. I think they're both super cute. Now I've got all this stuff on my desk, but you can certainly take your pick of sizes. Oh, you know what let's do? Let's just take a quick minute to go into the file, just so I can show you what it looks like. Okay, so this is the file. I've got a lot of stuff hidden because it was just easier for me when I was cutting. I think that's all of it. No, there's some more there. Oh, that, no, I can go ahead and hide that. That's just the original 2 pieces I started with. So this is, again, a freebie. You can download the link to Design Space on my Facebook page, and I used only free shapes. So it's totally free. If you don't have an Access subscription, you can still use this file. So it starts with, this is the original card. And let me zoom out a little bit more. I put here where your mountain and valley folds go. There's a mountain fold here underneath this circular piece here. Here's your little piece that holds that circular tab on there. These are optional for the back if you want them. It tells you here that the final card size is 5.5 by 8. That doesn't fit. Is that right? Gosh, I've measured so many different things I can't remember. Yeah, that's right. And then the optional belly band. And again, this matte 3 layers here is also optional. that's just there if you want it. You can do whatever you like with that. Maybe you don't even want a belly band on it. That's up to you. I don't think it really needs one. It lays pretty flat. So that is the 5.5 by 8 size, the really big one. So then here we have the medium size 5 by 7, which I did not make today. I cut my template out and it looks good. I just didn't actually make it. But again, you have all the same pieces. Here's your center piece to hold this circle up. The optional pieces for the back if you want to write a message, a personal message back there. Optional belly band. This is the finished size, folded size is 5 by 7. You could also put like a little brad here, or something else that would let you kind of slide this top piece over and write your message underneath there. So that's an option. So if you scroll all the way over, you have the finished card size of 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And again, you've got your optional belly band with sentiment strip, the optional back pieces, and these are the, of course, the inside panels as well as the front panels when it's closed and folded. So there you have it, guys. They are lined up at the 0, the 20-inch mark, and the 40-inch mark. So you can take your pick. I believe you take, if you select the text, because I usually just hide it when I'm ready to start cutting, and that makes it a little bit easier. You can also just hide whichever card you're not cutting to make it a little bit easier still. I realize these colors are pretty glaring or garish, but it's just what I ended up with. But you can also always change those once you download the file or get the link and then download it. So, alright guys, that's it. This one's long enough. I'm going to wrap it up, and thank you, Elizabeth, for suggesting it. I actually really like this card, and I'm going to make more of them for different occasions. And until next time, guys, I hope you have a happy crafty day.